as the Wall Street folks this year will likely get disappointed by the lackluster bonuses, I want to lay out all the issues aspiring investors exhibit I have seen over the last 3 years as a coach so that you can develop the self-awareness to stand out from a crowd. And my mission is to reduce the number of clueless folks one at a time. As you go into next year, the less clueless you are, the better you can take advantage of that surge in job openings that happens once a year after the bonus. Every day, thousands of people in finance want to explore another path. That's okay, but most seem completely oblivious to the downsides of their new journey. So the grass is greener syndrome is very real. And a prime example will be the movement between hedge funds and private equity. The hedge founders envy private equity for its stability and ability to hide behind 5 to 7 year time horizon, and as an asset class, private equity, as we all know, has enjoyed capital inflow over the years. I mean, when was the last time you saw a hedge fund able to raise $5 billion? And meanwhile, the private equity folks hear hedge funders boasting about that $1 million bonus in a single year, and they start to wonder if they should pursue a career in this eat what you kill profession. And they yearn for the less bureaucratic work environment and the ability to act on their ideas without worrying about the laborious processes with the investment committee and working with the portfolio companies, investment bankers, lawyers, and consultants. Well, for the hedge funders, what did you not realize? Private equity has bad hours. Much like investment banking in most cases, you will have to deal with the politics and the processes, plus you lose the ability to make quick trade decisions. You'll be spending 80% of your time on the 20% of companies that are always giving you the stress. And most of your portfolio companies aren't good businesses. Otherwise, why would they be PE only in the first place? The good thing for hedge funders who have never done investment banking is they have no shot at getting into private equity without suffering through IB first. So they don't even try. And as a result, don't even suffer from the grass is greener syndrome. And conversely, for the private equity folks, what do you not realize? Well, you can't predict the stock market in the near term. And yet hedge funders have to worry about the day-to-day price movement because a hedge fund doesn't have that long duration capital. And you have nowhere to hide the moment your PM puts on the trade. There's always something actionable as stocks move up and down every day, putting you on that hamster wheel of generating new ideas to keep the portfolio working. And your compensation suddenly becomes really lumpy, realizing that a $1 million bonus doesn't happen every year. And you could get a goose egg bonus and being left with a $150,000 base salary for the entire year while being paranoid 24/7 about your positions. And meanwhile, your private equity peers are slow and steadily clipping mid-six-figure compensation and enjoy a structured career progression as long as they're performing. So don't forget, the greener grass comes with the dark side too. When you know you're aiming for a research role for a specific portfolio under a particular portfolio manager, please focus on that PM and the strategy instead of on the firm. Yes, Fidelity is bigger than ClearBridge in AUM, and Citadel has more value creating PMs than Balyasny because the returns say so. However, you will be working for a particular portfolio or a portfolio manager, not for the entire firm. Citadel and Fidelity have subpar PMs, and Balyasny and ClearBridge have star PMs. And in most cases, your PM has high discretion on how they treat you, mentor you, and compensate you. Picking the right PM/portfolio is 95% of the battle. Unless you're working for a firm that is a sinking ship, the firm does not nearly matter as much as whom you work for. That said, there are exceptions. For example, you could be gunning for a centralized research role at a long only. In that case, the firm does matter because you will be interfacing with all the portfolio managers of the firm. The same logic applies if you work for a single manager hedge fund because the PM is the firm. You're pursuing a career in finance because you want to make a lot of money. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Otherwise, you could have joined Teach for America. But you must realize the majority of compensation upside comes in later years. To reach that senior analyst and portfolio manager level, you must independently contribute money-making stock ideas. This requires 1, finding a style alignment, and 2, you put in the effort to acquire the skills and the pattern recognition to add value consistently. Without alignment, you will be discouraged and won't be passionate enough to work hard where you don't believe in the ways things are done, and you will fail and never ascend to the big money-making roles. So make sure you maximize fit instead of choosing the highest compensation when entering a performance-driven industry like investing. And many of you choose the first multi-manager analyst opening simply because there are always openings at a multi-manager, and the capital is flowing into the genre as it has had a few years of stellar return during a turbulent market. Yet I'm certain not 100% of you know what you're signing up for. And this oversight may prove to be a fatal mistake for enough of you for me to make this point. As you gain more experience under one investment style, transitioning to another style becomes more challenging. What would you do when long-only strategy become popular 5 years from now? It's just an example. I'm not interested in debating whether that's a possibility. Will you reshape yourself to suddenly appeal to styles that don't focus on quarterly setups and what the alternative data are saying on intra-quarter trends? So please take a time to truly understand the type of investor you want to become and be patient for the right opportunity. The labor market is efficient most of the time. The best opportunities rarely present themselves. Conversely, if something is in more abundance, there's a reason. Pod shops are always firing and hiring. It's just a business model. While you wait, you can always work on honing your skills as an investor on your own time. Alignment and passion will take you farther in any career than blindly following any industry trend ever will. That principle does not just apply to investing. I think you guys know nothing irritates me more than candidates who expect information to come to them. If the Tiger Cup folks are putting in 80-hour weeks to create value for their clients, I don't know what your excuse is for asking first-level questions on a finance forum or on Twitter and expect to break into the buy side. And forget succeeding on the buy side. The information is out there. Google it, ChatGPT it, read a 10K transcript, check Twitter, read a 13F, check Whale Wisdom, Morningstar. When you're going to an interview asking second-level questions, it won't necessarily get you the job, but it will help you avoid being perceived as a lazy person. For example, someone asked about Walleye Capital here. Just Google it. I guarantee the podcast with Patrick O'Shaughnessy shows up on the first page on Google search. And he just posted this and have someone explicitly responding to what I just said. That's very embarrassing if it happens in an interview. I also see questions on shortcuts all the time. How to quickly ramp up on an industry or a stock, how to master something complex really quickly. People envy their peers' research efficiency and wonder if there's a shortcut. I have news for you. It's called experience. It's called repetition. There's no shortcut. They know everything about what they're looking at, and that's why they know what matters. Because they have been studying their company and industry for a long time. You only truly understand something by knowing everything about it. Over time, you improve on knowing what matters. But when you're looking at a new industry and a new company, you have to put in the work and develop a first principle understanding. Over time, you will gain the mental framework that can be applied to the next unrelated industry to save time. But again, you need to have known some stuff to learn other stuff more quickly than your peers. Maybe it's just me because I lack the experience, but I always brute force and spend the time learning things from a first principle basis so I can explain to a 5-year-old. You need to stop asking on online forums about that secret book, blog, FinTwit person, or a primer that will grant you the full mastery of something really quickly. These things might save you time, but they are not the holy grail that most of you are hoping. I guarantee that. You can't expect to shine in an equity investing interview by rehearsing 400 interview questions for a week. That's just not how it works. Investing is the last liberal art, so there's nothing formulaic about it, and it requires interdisciplinary skills. You're also expected to know how to play the game before they let you into the locker room. And that means there is no such thing as, oh, let me borrow a stock idea and I will cram it and pitch it in 3 days. If you can get a buy-side job doing that, either you're gunning for a subpar shop or you're way better than I thought you are. That means you probably started researching companies when you're a teenager and you're just ahead of everybody. Or you already work in the industry. And for the rest of you, if you're not that experienced, please give yourself adequate time. Yes, you need to get your behavioral questions and stories down. But most importantly, you need an actionable stock idea, delivered concisely, and know how to defend it when I ask further questions on the idea, the company, and the industry. And that requires you to know the company and the industry inside out, and all that takes time. How do you adequately prepare? By allocating enough time beforehand. For some of you in traditional path like investment banking, I know you're just so used to the concept of recruiting as a structured process because investment banking is structured and private equity recruiting, to my understanding, is somewhat structured as well. But let me warn you, there's nothing structured about public equity investing recruiting. Funds hire based on need. 1 year, they might hire 3. Next year, they might hire none. And they're looking for the best candidate who is perceived to be most ready at the moment of the interview. And you could always be competing with someone with buy-side experience already. It is not a fair competition. You absolutely need to over-prepare to stand a chance against competitors who might have had many years of a head start. So you should start today, even when there's no job opening. Learn to generate your own actionable ideas. I've done a video on stock idea generation. Make sure you check it out. That can be helpful. And know as much as you can about your investment ideas and follow their progression. And you know you can't pitch a stock idea that has already worked. So you might need to find a new idea when a real job opportunity presents itself. It's time consuming and it sucks. But do you want a job or not? Don't wait until the last minute when a job opening actually shows up. Your competitor's day job could be to generate stock ideas, so they're good to go. Or they're already hunting for the next money-making idea. If you want to win, start today so you're not behind in an already unfair game. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for future contents on equity research, business analysis, and career advice. Don't fixate on Tiger Cub. If you don't fit a certain academic or professional profile, you might never get a job there. I don't want to be fixed-minded because as you know, I'm not fixed-minded. It's just that elite firms can't afford to choose, and they like to window dress their team with junior folks who fit the bill. And this stems from the senior people their desire to seek out individuals who mirror their own lineage, whether it's the same major, same school, same professional experience, or same secret club on campus. And these backgrounds also help the fund portray a certain credibility to external investors. Many of you might miss the point that, oh, if I have stock picking skills that are as good as Dan Sunhein's, I can land a role at D1. As an investor, I think about the base rate. Has anyone from North Dakota State ever broken into D1 in an investment research role? But I doubt a single one. Are you going to be the exception? Maybe, and I hope you make onto Bloomberg News for becoming the outlier and proving my entire video wrong. But the odds are just severely against you if you attended North Dakota State. I'm sorry, I have to pick on some school. Also, if the entire investment team is full of Ivy League bros who are ex-athletes, will you enjoy the work environment? So much for diversity of thinking when everyone at certain hedge fund is a Wharton grad who did Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley banking, then was PE at Blackstone. You might be working too hard to try to break into somewhere you don't belong and won't enjoy. That I don't think is the point of a career at anywhere. The good news is there are thousands of other hedge funds, many of which are willing to give you a chance if you prove yourself. So stop fixating on an elite fund just because all you hear is they have amazing economics. Unless you have a traditional profile, you need to be flexible in your entry point. Over time, I have softened my tone on this whole CFA thing. Not because I suddenly think the CFA is a useful program that makes you a better investor. More like I'm just very helpless. The world does not work the way I want it to. Namely, I hope getting a skill-based job is 100% about intrinsic skills. The truth is, branding and go-to-market matter, and less qualified candidates with a good understanding of how they brand and pitch themselves can win the game against more intrinsically talented candidates. I'm sure you have seen that all the time in your life. That said, you should absolutely prioritize working on your core fundamentals. Know how to think like an investor. Practice modeling and valuing real businesses. And have views. And I still stand by my statement. The CFA is not useful for practical application of investing. Only when you have solid fundamentals and still feel you're struggling with getting yourself in front of an interviewer and you want to pursue paths that value the CFA. Sit for a level or two and see if it opens conversations for you. But again, I remind you, if you suck as a stock analyst and investor, don't expect passing CFA exams to magically convert to job offers. Even if passing the exam help you land an interview, you will still struggle with the case studies and the stock pitches. No amount of mechanical memorization will change that. There are many effective ways to get in front of hiring managers than hoping passing CFA exams can get your resume picked up by some HR or some robot. The CFA is not your magic key to a buy-side seat, and neither is any other type of professional exam or certificate. Public equity investing is not a 40 hours a week job. If you're looking for a 9 to 5, do something else, because you will lose to all of us who love this game too much to put in the bare minimum. Only those of us who understand the world just a little bit better than the masses stand a chance of consistently outperforming the market. In fact, even if you work just 40 hours a week on a buy side, the intensity of deep focus during those hours is way more draining than working 40 hours at a corporate job. And even with all those hours put in, there is no guarantee you will be a great investor. You can only increase the odds by working harder. To say it bluntly, we all have different emotional temperaments and intelligence level. The good thing about buy side is it's still less painful than other high intensity job that stresses face time. So you can come home with a stack of 10Ks and research reports to read on your own couch versus having to work in the office till midnight and having to order meal delivery. But make no mistake, if you just want to Netflix and chill after work, I can guarantee you won't get really far in this profession, because your competitors are putting in the work and can be on the other side of the same trade. And the brutal reality is only one of the two sides is right in the stock. You just don't know that until after the fact. You must love reading, and it's good for you, but you cannot hide behind someone else's opinion for the rest of your career. Your firm hires you for your opinion, not what Howard Marks or some random hedge fund letter said. Definitely hit the few classic literature pieces in your investment style. You can check out my reading list for that. Then you need to get out of your comfort zone and apply your knowledge and skills to real stock. You will impress with your theoretical knowledge during interviews, but you won't get a job without a well-prepared stock pick. And you cannot ask Howard Marks when you're giving a stock idea as an interview case study. You need to crank on it and deliver a recommendation. What are you going to do then? And that's actually why buy-side interviewers always ask for a stock pitch, even when you have no idea generation responsibility as a junior. They want to assess your potential to ramp into an independently idea-generating analyst, rather than being a doer for the rest of your life. Being a lifetime doer is bad for your career or the firm. Most firms won't allow you to be a lifetime doer anyways. If you aren't ramping to independently idea-generating capacity in 2 to 3 years, you will be let go. It's not personal, because someone who is willing to risk their career reputation will gladly take your spot. Even if you're super passionate about learning from great investors, you start allocating at least half of your time to studying companies and industries and forming views. Once you have read the 5th or 6th investment book in your genre, the marginal benefit of an extra investment book is very low. And at that point, you should allocate 100% of your time to developing sector expertise of your choice so you can have the pattern recognition. Ultimately, you are hired to make money with your ideas, not hired to recite lines from the book Margin of Safety. It's a great book, but almost all of us have read it. You need to do the hard things. So get to work. The buy side is a shrinking industry. You need to be open-minded about relocation. If you're asking questions like, any good funds in Charleston, South Carolina, or in Orange County, California? My friend, you lost the battle before the war even began. There's so few jobs as it is. Harsh as it may sound, no one cares about your personal circumstance. If your life situation prevents you from relocating to a big financial hub, you're going to have a tough time getting a job in institutional public equity investing. I know you might be thinking, well, maybe I can work remotely for a fund in a big financial hub. One, I think it's bad for your learning, because every investment firm's process is best learned in person through osmosis. And I can speak from experience. A lot of things get lost in translation when you're not in the trenches with your PM and the senior analyst in the same office. And it's also bad for your career. Yes, investing is performance driven, but as long as you're working for a company, there's always a people component. Imagine 2 junior analysts. One works in person in the office. One is remote, and neither has P&L responsibility. Assuming both are equally competent, whom do you think is the PM most likely to promote next year? I think remote only works when you're a grown-up in the profession. And that means you're independently idea-generating senior analyst or a portfolio manager who can create real value without much supervision. I strongly recommend you to relocate to where your firm is for your career longevity. If you want to hear more of my take on the investment management industry, I have 2 great videos for you in the upcoming screen. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.